everyone, and welcome back to my yearly roundup of all the weird news that has happened in 2024. I'm back today with a few more weird tales from the year just past. This isn't your usual news roundup, this is strictly the stuff that makes you go, what? As quite frankly, the regular news is far too depressing and genuinely terrifying. So instead, we'll be exploring a few lighter, weird and wonderful stories that may have not made it into the regular newspaper during 2024. Now, that's not to say that these stories don't dally with the dark side, because they most definitely do. But there's also some light-hearted strangeness too. But don't worry, if anything is going to be hideously awful, then I'll give you a heads up first. So with the disclaimer out of the way, let's jump into June. Before we kick off today's stories, if you are new here, then hi, my name's Nikki and I make podcasts, YouTube videos and TikToks about all sorts of weird stuff. So if you're into that, which I have a sneaking suspicion that you might be, then please hit subscribe so we can hang out together again. And if you're not new here, then welcome back, old fiend. Nice to see you again. Now, this series takes a lot of planning and effort to produce, and it's just me making everything. So if you fancy supporting what I make to help me create this series and beyond, then please check out my Patreon at patreon.com/Macabre London for lots of bonus content. Now, let's get into the episode. Now, because I have the interests of a 4-year-old boy, alongside a love of sharks, aliens and zombies, I also love robots. So when I heard about scientists in Tokyo working towards making them more lifelike, I was intrigued. But when I saw what they had planned, this might be a step too far, even for me. Scientists at the University of Tokyo have made a significant breakthrough by developing a robot face which is covered with living skin tissue that is able to mimic human expressions. The smiling skin blob is made from lab-engineered collagen gel, which is infused with dermal fibroblasts, aka cells, which are commonly found in our own connective tissues inside the human body. The squidgy blob of tissue is attached to the robot's surface or face using innovative V-shaped perforations. These holes are able to act in a way which mimics our own natural skin ligaments, and so the skin is pliable and durable, much like our own faces. The perforated V-shape anchors allow the collagen tissue gel to stretch into different expressions, which are created by the robot's mechanisms underneath without tearing. So the big question, why make this? Well, it's an experiment to see if the uncanny valley effect, which humans currently experience with lifelike versions of robots, could be rectified by using more lifelike skin structures. If so, it would be a key step toward making robots appear more lifelike and therefore easier for people to accept on a daily basis. This biohybrid approach to the new squidgy material aims to improve not only the robot's realism, but also its durability, as the skin can self-heal minor damage, unlike traditional synthetic materials which need to be replaced if broken. The creators and researchers behind the self-healing bioengineered substance envision future iterations of the skin with added features like sensory functions, blood vessels for nourishment, and the ability to mimic human wrinkles. But it's not just something which could change robotic advancements. The skin could also be used to help humans in other ways. Beyond robotics, this technology could impact fields such as plastic surgery and dermatological research, offering insights into skin aging and wrinkle formation, and even be used to test out pharmaceutical research in the future without the need for human test subjects. However, for the moment, it seems like it's a little way off being too human-like, and until it stops resembling silly putty, we may well be safe from human-looking robots walking among us without realising. But it's safe to say it's an interesting direction of research, and I, for one, am interested to see where it goes next. However, what I would say is that I'm quite happy for robots to look like WALL-E and to not give people even more unrealistic body standards. After all, how can I compete with the blobby stunner in a Petri dish? Look at her, she's gorgeous. And if you're listening to just the podcast version, you're just going to have to head to the YouTube video to see what I'm talking about. The link is in the show notes. If you've been around here for a while, you'll know that I love a decades-old mystery. So when one of the greats popped back up again with a new theory in June this year, I was all ears. Now, the Voynich manuscript is one of the world's, if not the world's, best-kept secret. I've done a whole episode on the mysteries of the Voynich manuscript before, but if you're new here and you've not yet consumed that one, I'll pop a link for you in the episode description notes or on screen if you're watching the YouTube video. But basically, the Voynich manuscript is a book discovered by Wilfred Voynich in a box of old manuscripts he bought from a monastery, and ever since he found it, it's given everyone a headache as to what it means. The text inside is indecipherable. It contains mainly drawings, and no one yet has been able to give a definitive explanation of what it is. The book has been carbon dated, and some think it's a hoax, but there's a new theory on the horizon. Recent developments surrounding the Voynich manuscript have once again had people scratching their heads as to what it all may mean. Scholars Keegan Brewer and Michelle O'Malley, both research fellows at the Macabre University in Australia, have contributed insights into the manuscript's context, suggesting that its mysterious code and illustrations might be better understood as part of a tradition of encoded knowledge rather than a straightforward linguistic puzzle. The pair's work adds to the complex debate about the manuscript's purpose and origins, but it comes up with a new theory that this might be something a little more hidden than first intended. Past claims of decipherment have faced significant academic criticism, and skeptics argue that many supposed breakthroughs oversimplify or misinterpret the manuscript's unique features, such as its intricate botanical illustrations and undeciphered script. The new theory put forward by Brewer and O'Malley, however, is that this book was deliberately written in code in order to protect women. The two theorise that the book is actually a gynecological handbook, created to help women during a time of religious scorn, in that anything that happened to their bodies was just God's will, and they should suffer for it. This step-by-step guide may well have been written in code to protect what its true message was, and that it would have been hidden to protect the women who needed it, and as such, it would protect them from people finding out what plants could be taken to prevent a pregnancy, to get rid of an unwanted child, or to help with common gynecological complaints. So in reality, it may well have been a handbook that was way ahead of its time. So as with all theories about the potentially ancient book, we'll never know who's right, but it's easy to imbue a text with a sense of our understanding of the modern-day world and to come to a fitting conclusion, and we'll never know if it's right. So for the time being, this is just another possible outcome to add to the Voynich manuscript's long list of possible meanings, but I think it will always remain a mystery, and there's something quite comforting about that. Since 2020, there's been a story that's recurred a few times on the Weird News Roundup, and that's the strange occurrence of something dotted around the globe, which no one has yet been able to get to the bottom of. In June 2024, another mysterious metallic monolith appeared in the Las Vegas desert in a national wildlife refuge near Gas Peak. Now, if you've not heard of the monoliths, they're tall, silver-coloured structures that have popped up around the globe, and no one knows where they've come from, who's made them, or if they're even human. Since 2020, the alien-looking solid structures have popped up in the Americas, India, Spain, Germany, and England, just to name a few places. This particular new monolith was discovered by the Las Vegas Search and Rescue Organisation and quickly became a topic of interest online, with the local police sharing images and using the event to promote hiking safety tips. But this begs the question, where are they coming from and why do they continue to appear? Unlike the earlier infamous monolith, which was created by YouTuber Zach and Jay, who placed one beside Glastonbury Tor, the origins of this latest installation remain unclear. Speculation abounds about whether this is the work of one singular artist, or a copycat inspired by the originals, or part of a larger marketing stunt, the meaning of which has yet to be revealed. The randomness of their appearances and the varied styles of monoliths suggests multiple creators have been involved since the phenomenon began, or maybe this is just a communication from another species on a different planet, which we don't know how to decode. Maybe this is the basis of installing a communication system or a way of controlling Earth that we've yet to understand. Either way, we'll have to keep our eyes on the skies, or perhaps the papers, to see where the next one pops up. Thanks for joining me for that selection of weird stories. I hope you enjoyed them, and if you did, there'll be more along soon, so make sure you're subscribed or following if you're not already to keep up with the series. If you like the show and what I make in general and you want it to continue, then please consider becoming a Patreon supporter like our executive Patreon producers, Christina, Christoph, Heather's Leg, Lisa, Mary, Ravel, Sally, Sam, Sarah, Terry and Veronica, and all of our other patrons too. If you sign up to Patreon, you get access to my other podcast, Having a Problem, which really is a lot of silly fun and I think you're going to love it. And there's also hours of other bonus content over there too, and plenty more planned for 2025. If you'd rather just send a tip or a little Christmas gift from my Amazon wishlist, then I would massively appreciate that too, and I'll leave all the links in the show notes in case you want to check that out. Thank you for joining me for this episode. I've been Nikki Druce. Remember to stay spooky, and I'll see you ghouls next time for July.